Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome back to the Ranagade Show, brought to you from underneath the Hollywood sign. I have with me today a very, very amazing special guest, one of my besties for the resties, Ashley Everett, the best dancer on the planet. Fight me, all right?
Thank you.
And then my forever bestie, co-host extraordinaire, moderator extraordinaire, Amirica. Let's go.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. So here we are again. It's actually really sunny. So LA's been...
Girl, I mean, I haven't been over here when it wasn't raining. I feel like every time I'm over here, it's raining. So I am so happy to see the view, the sun, the Hollywood sign, all of it.
It's back out. It's like we almost forgot what the sun felt and looked like, I think, in LA.
Yes.
Also, we got to reconsider these rent prices.
Girl.
Like, isn't part of LA the weather?
Absolutely.
That's the flex. Like, when all of your homies back home go, what are you paying for?
I know. Everybody is upset because they're like, I didn't move here for rain.
Yeah, no, I think we need Seattle rent prices.
Oh, did you hear that LA got more rain than Seattle?
What?
Like, over the last year? Yeah. I saw that on Instagram today.
Trillions of gallons since December has hit LA. Yeah. Trillions of gallons.
Are we smart enough to, like, harness that in
No,
some
we're
capacity?
not.
Of course not.
We failed.
But I did notice that the reservoir was popping today, girl. Popping. Everybody said it's sunny outside. Let's get this exercise.
Let's go outside. No, like typically right there, you see all the people waiting.
Yeah.
The past couple of days that it's been sunny, it's like swarms.
Of course.
Swarms have come out to take their tourist photos.
Someone needs to tell the French tourists, though, to, like, get out of the road or I will run them over. Like, someone needs to inform
The French
them.
ones specifically?
I can't confirm that they're French, but my gut instinct.
They're so stylish, you
Yes,
assume they have to be
yes,
French.
They have to be.
Okay.
Smell their Givenchy.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
the road,
Okay.
yeah, so.
All right. Well, shout outs to France.
We love France.
I love French music. I do.
People, food.
Tombeau la neige.
Oh, she knows it.
We're going to stop now for copyright reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. If you know that song, banger. I think his name's like Salvatore or something. Fire. Anyway, French music is sauce for sure. Okay, so today we are going to be chit-chatting with the incomparable, ever-talented, world-renowned dancer extraordinaire, Ashley Everett, who is so dynamic, I would say, because the look, you look a certain way, right? And so I think people expect, like, maybe for you to be kind of girlier or daintier or more of a pushover.
A lot of people tell me that they think I'm just going to be a bitch when they meet me. Yeah, just straight up. You look like you'd be a bitch.
So
I'm like,
pretty.
well, dang, what'd I do to you?
Just was prettier than them.
No.
Is that ever a good thing?
I mean, what?
That people think that? Because they'll leave you alone, maybe?
Yeah, sometimes, maybe. Yeah. I wouldn't know that, though, and then they still have this, like, perception of me that is usually wrong.
Right.
I can be one. I mean, can't we all when we need to be?
Sure, yeah,
On a
yeah,
need-be basis.
Yeah, need be, but
it's in the
generally, nah.
No, not at all. Honestly, that's funny too. I think stereotypically, the girls get like, whatever. You're a mean girl. You're catty. You're rude to each other. Like, not for nothing. Every girl I know that's poppin', and whether it be like looks poppin', money poppin', they're boss bitches, they got business popping. Whatever if they're the most popping girls are the nicest girls.
Yeah.
Typically hate comes from like people that
Low self-esteem and
low
achievement, that type of thing.
Well, yeah. I think also because you're not showing up for your shit. Like, you're not showing up, so then you're mad at somebody else.
At everybody else who is. Yeah, because people want you to do good, but they don't want you to do better than them.
Drop it.
Okay,
that's the one. No, that is the one.
When they see you shining more, they're like
shining and jamming more.
Shining and jamming more.
So do you notice that, like, with
more.
dancers, like, they'll get competitive with each other and petty about stuff like that? Is that, like, a thing that just any artist has to deal with?
Yeah, I feel like in this industry in general, it's like just competitive. But dancers especially, I was talking to one of my friends about this recently, and dance is like one of the most competitive, like, industries and forms or whatever in this industry.
Yep.
And I'll give you an example of how it is and why and what we were talking about exactly, because this isn't like musicians don't go through this, artists don't go through this. When you're like auditioning as a dancer, a lot of times they categorize you, like Latinas over there, black mixed girls over here,
like
blondes.
jail.
Yeah, like sometimes,
Yo.
And if a lot of times they're only looking for one of each, you know?
Touche.
So
We need one black girl. We need one Hispanic chick. We need
you're
one Asian girl.
already
Got you.
automatically up against however many else are in the room. Like, and you know it. I'm looking at you like, all right, girl, we're both the light-skinned girls. There's one of us, you know, like it's like that.
Literally.
And then it's like 30 of us, you know?
So now your dance styles or none of those things are even the things where...
I mean, yes, that all plays its role, but there's like so much more. There's politics that goes into it too. Talent gets you so far, and then it's like who you know, and you know how great of a worker you are. Do people want to work with you? Are you an asshole? Do you take corrections? You know, like all of that plays its role. But dancers specifically, we always have to go up against somebody that we know we are like battling. It's like a head-on like direct competition.
Touché.
So do you think that like the best dancers are always picked, or the ones per category are the ones picked? Like, do you think like the top 5 are in one category and then they don't actually pick the top 5? They're looking for the people who are Latina or what? You know,
it just depends on the project. You know, it depends. I've been chosen because of my abilities, and I've been chosen strictly because of my looks. Sometimes
because you fit an aesthetic,
or a role. Yep. It really just depends on what is the most important. Is it like vibes? Is it energy? Is it like having equal things and everything represented on the stage or whatever? Like, it really just depends.
Well, I think that's like a good double-edgy type of a thing, and maybe not even a double-edged sword because it's not a bad thing. Because like on one end, it's like you're not being pitted against a bunch of different people. Like, you're fighting for a particular thing. So if you don't get chosen, it's like you very easily cannot take it personal then.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's not me they're looking for in particular. They're trying to fit a
bill. If you're the second best dancer and the one person ahead of you is the person in your sort of demographic, and then there's 5 people chosen, I think that would upset me. I can understand that too. So.
And a lot of people do take it personal, even though we know it's not
it's
a lot
not
of
personal,
the times.
Yeah. Like if you're an actor, you're not getting not picked because you...
But then sometimes it is personal because then if you're an actor, dancer, whoever, you're getting picked because maybe I'm the producer and I want my friend to be on it.
Touche.
You know, and maybe there's this, you're a bomb actor, but I don't know you, so I'm hiring my friends. And it's like, that's not fair either necessarily, but
or
who you
even
know matters.
Then whoever's the producer is like biased then even jump in too, because it's like now then you have this whole grand forever argument of like, okay, if you go to any Nollywood, Bollywood, Hollywood, lighter skin actors get all the roles, and whoever's, you know, more or less darker skin out of those cultures doesn't typically make it on the prime time or like the big silver screen.
So do you see lesser dancers get picked because of them being lighter skinned? Is that something that you've seen? Like people who are not as good as dancers getting picked just because of how they look?
I mean, yeah, I've seen not great dancers get picked because of how they look, and great dancers not get picked because of how they look. Touche, like both. Absolutely.
On both ends. Yeah.
I've been told I was like too light skinned for like a black project. I'm like, but I'm black. And there's different shades of black.
Right. Touche.
But
right.
you know, and it's like, what? How does that make sense? But okay, you know, like it's wild. Wild industry.
And then is there ever like male and female? Because I know within the dance world, from what I understand, like male dancers and female dancers are kind of like super separated. There's no like.
Sorta. Yeah.
There's no like fluidity within that, I guess.
Well, you know, I feel like Vogue and that entire world is like coming back in the whole like androgynous like LGBTQ plus community, obviously, but like
the Grace Jones vibe.
Yes, and like where boys can be girls and wear heels, but then also be a guy, and like, you know, so I feel like it is coming back, but there isn't a lot of that like intertwining. Even though like I will say on Masked Singer, you know, I dance on the Masked Singer, and a lot of times,
yes,
yeah,
okay, this is like you are like reoccurring season after season after season.
Yeah, I've been on it
this
since season 3,
and this is season 9.
9 is airing right now. Yeah. Thanks.
Oh.
I know, it's crazy. I started like right before the pandemic, and then like it's been like my bread and butter like since the pandemic. I love that you do so many things. Thank you.
And the world that like The Masked Singer. No one knows it's you on there doing all that, but
I
like
know,
you're
girl.
literally filming book,
And I'm
doing all
collecting
that.
those checks and those residuals. Okay.
My name is on the check though. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
and
it.
if I want to talk about it, I can.
That's
And if
part,
I
that
don't,
part,
I
that
don't
part.
because nobody knows it's me if
Yeah.
I don't want them to.
Yeah. So you were saying on the Masked Singer, you said the style of dance is coming back.
Oh, so sometimes a lot of times we dance with boys and girls, but they dress us all the same. So like you can't tell
awesome.
who's a boy, who's a girl. Like we
Like
just
how
look
Rihanna
like,
just did her dancers.
Yeah,
I loved how everyone just
much.
was kind of wearing the same vibe. You couldn't
Yeah.
tell if they were boys or girls.
Yeah, so I guess that is kind of a thing actually,
love
because that's
that.
what you initially asked.
Seems
yeah.
more fair, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like everyone is equal.
And as
Sort of.
tomboys, I'd like to, maybe you feel like me, maybe you don't, but for me personally, as a often dabbler in males' wardrobes, as I'm styled currently by Luxury Lazy, LA's finest drip. Okay, check them out, Luxury Lazy. You know what I'm saying? We got a Ranagade collab coming soon. But as a girl who rocks the boys' clothes so easily and like without any apology, I'm a fan of the boys dabbling into the girls' clothes. That does like. Not but I like it. Do you like? I wear
Yeah.
boys' clothes. You
Yeah,
want to
you
paint your
support
nails?
it.
Do
You
it.
support it.
Yeah, you want to wear high heels? Do you?
Do you?
I wear
Do what
Tims.
makes you
feel
shine.
me? Boys Tims every day.
I wear heels and Tims.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
sneakers.
Yeah.
Okay?
So like whatever you're comfortable in, do you? Because
Yeah.
I'm comfortable in my shit. So like I know guys that like paint their nails. I know guys that get their toenails painted. I know guys that, you know.
Do you want to date them?
I think
Honestly,
that's a different question, right?
That is definitely
honestly, if he was
shifting
him,
gears.
if he was the unicorn, then yeah, fuck it. I guess we're painting our nails today. But I feel like,
We're
but I
painting
feel
our
like
nails.
my him would be more like me, right? So what I'm on, I don't like. Sometimes I might do all that, but I feel like if I don't put all this effort into like trying to be all this extra pretty, what are you doing?
You
bruh?
shouldn't be doing more
Yeah,
than
like
me.
you
Definitely you shouldn't be doing more than
Like
me.
if my nails ain't did, why are yours? And then
Yeah.
like, why didn't you take me with you?
Yeah.
Why isn't both of our nails done? Let's say. That doesn't
Literally.
mean pay for it. Just make the appointment and I'll go.
Yeah.
But I didn't know we were getting pretty this week.
Yeah.
So just give me the memo, like.
Yeah, you got your hair done and I didn't.
Yeah, like
don't leave
why
me
is-
hanging.
Yeah, like how come you always got a haircut? Like when was the last time I got a haircut? So I'm not a fan of that because I feel like my unicorn him would be very like me. So I feel like I would want someone like me who isn't super into like pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty's whack.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of like people that are like, I'm pretty.
Yeah. I like having pretty moments.
No, yeah, not like, but hold on. If you pretty, you're pretty. Like you're beautiful. Like you're beautiful all the time. I've seen
Thank
you
you.
like,
You too, girl.
Okay, those pictures you just dropped on IG.
Thanks.
Okay, you guys want your mind blown? Ashley CM Everett
There you go.
on IG, Everett.
Yes. she
One
knows how to
R
spell.
double
Let's go.
T's. Let's go. Go to her page. It will literally change your life. This photo. It is like it gave me my life. It will really give you your life.
I know
think-
we got creative with that shoot, and it was just like it was like 4 girls. We were all black girls,
Let's
and
go.
we were just like
Let's go.
creating, like
Let's go, Black Girl Magic.
Like it was very black girl magic, like
The
from
untouchable.
vision to life, you know.
And in a world we were talking about before, like in a world of AI, it's so amazing that people can capture such fantastical moments in reality.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And make it reality. you
Literally.
know?
I feel like the world right now stopped creating shit. And like I think we touched on it before, like the world stopped making things. And then in the past 10, 15 years, we've just been putting all the things we made like on the internet. Like vice
Absolutely.
versa. I think like maybe like 100 years ago, like motherfuckers was going to wars and like doing all this war-y stuff. And then it was like, all right, let's write about all the wars. And then like kind of wars kind of stopped happening in these global ways. And like, I feel like once you start talking about stuff, it stops happening.
Sometimes.
What do you think of that?
You stop talking. It's like the tree falling in the forest thing, right? Basically.
Yeah, like I feel like, not that it stops happening, not that we stopped going to war or that we stopped making things in the world, because like AI, that's a new thing. Or
Just because you think you don't hear about something, you think it doesn't happen. Though I think it happens.
I think it still does happen, but I feel like it happens a little bit more like incognito behind closed doors.
Well, I think the problem is we know too much about each other. I don't need to know what you had for dinner last night. I don't need to know what your color preference is. I don't need to see every single angle of you in every single way. You know, I think we're too invasive in each other's lives. And I
Yes.
think for some people, that's great. I think some people really appreciate the limelight, appreciate the spotlight
Yeah.
of life. And I think for some people, we need more privacy. I think in general, I don't need to know that much about you. You
I
know?
do kind of miss the private, like, secrecy of life and, like, the mystery, because we do show so much now because of the internet. Like, everybody is, like, in a battle of how much you can show of yourself. It's like, whew, where is the mystery? Where is the secrecy? Where is the wow and the surprise, you know?
I do think there's a common balance, though, that you have to, or like a little fine line in the middle of that. Because, like, right now, I'm stuck in this really weird place where, like, I haven't posted in so long.
Oh my
And now I'm
gosh.
like,
and now you're, like, stuck. It's hard to
Now
get
I'm like, what do I
started
like?
back
Okay,
again.
what do I tell these people about? And then like all these new
Yeah.
people came by because they're like, oh, professional blunt roller, and I'm like, there's so much other going on. Like,
Oh, yeah.
do I tell you about everything?
Yeah,
like,
you just start telling them, girl.
like, do I just
putting
go
it
on
out.
live and tell it? Like, it's like I want to bring.
Well,
like,
as someone with her own podcast, I would say you're a very private person who doesn't want any
Well, no,
spotlight. You
I'm-
don't want to be out in the world at
no,
all.
no,
You
it's
want
not
no
about that.
attention.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not about. It's not about that. I love real moments that happen. The way I think of the internet, you know, indulge me if you will, is like in school, you like the kid that goes up to the pencil sharpener like 12 times in class to show off the outfit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not getting up to go pencil sharpen. First of all, I don't care about my pencil being sharp in class because I'm probably in the back doing whatever anyway in class. Second of all, I'm not getting up 12 times to show you my fit. Like, I walked to my seat already. If you didn't catch it, you didn't catch it. I'm out.
That's because you're, like, already naturally, like, a cool girl. So it's like you don't need to show it off to get, like, someone else to tell you that that's cool. You're like, I know. Like,
but
you
then
never
that's-
needed anyone to, like, toot your horn. You're like, I already know. But I will say, as, like, a fan and your friend, but also, like, from a fan perspective, like, girl, I be looking for stuff for you to put content out and stuff. And I'm like,
many
Renegade's
times-
on a quiet day today or a quiet week or whatever. She's not
I've
posting.
been telling you, Ranagade, the people want the content.
Yeah, we do. We be looking for it because I know you go out of town. I'm like, oh, she's not in town. Let me see what she's up to. And then there's nothing or something.
Radio
I'm like, dang,
silence.
she's. But also, I'm like, I commend it. Maybe she's living in the moment because we don't do a lot of that too.
I do.
So
I'm so in the moment. Like, typically, I don't know where my phone is. Like,
Yeah.
once I set it, like, I'm not checking for it.
you have to just be intentional about the posting
I
and
know,
about
I
being in the
know.
moment.
You
You know,
told-
you got to give us both.
And you've done so good. I actually have like a gang of photos me and you have taken.
Yeah.
You will see these things. Maybe
I'm
I'll
trying to
start,
be
like,
intentional too, girl. I tell myself it every day. So
You
I
do
just
so
have
good
to
with it,
preach it to
though.
my friends too.
You've been
'cause I'm
doing
like,
so good. You've been
Thank
doing
you.
so like I feel like I'm at least in some capacity. Oh, I know. See, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Accountability.
Okay.
It's okay. That's what we're here for, girl.
Like whatever, like what you make me feel when I watch your stories, because like me and you tap in, we talk,
Yeah,
we have
we do.
full blown. I mean, we spend like we're family. I
Yeah.
think we're beyond friends.
Absolutely.
But since we're both busy, so I don't get to talk to you. So I do miss you. So when I do watch your story, I'm like, okay,
Caught
kicking
up. You be
ass.
caught up with my life, and
Yeah.
I don't get the same
I
back.
know. Okay, I'm
Come
being
on.
selfish. You're right. All right. Okay. So
There we
people,
go.
If
We
I
got to the
start
bottom of it.
posting, yeah, just hold me accountable a little bit. And then also, I think some of it too is like what. Here's the thing. I'm really good at talking to a person or it being gone to something. I feel like I don't want to like shoot shit in the dark and be like, hey,
No,
so
go on
whoever's
live.
listening.
People on live, they comment all the time. Then you're not talking to you're not talking to yourself. You're talking to
maybe
people.
I'll go on lives. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta finish an order today. So maybe after this podcast or something, I'll go live, and then
Yeah.
once this comes out, maybe by then in a week, you guys, I will have created a habit of going live. Good job.
We're on to something, guys.
Yeah. Because honestly, you're absolutely right, and I think. Some of that, like you said, though, is like it's intrusive. So then we also, I think, I'm bred from the school of like, you know, like.
Well, there's a difference
shit
between
on the
telling people
low.
things they don't want to hear and telling people things they want to hear.
Absolutely.
You have fans. You know what I mean? That's the difference, right? It's like, listen, I could post pictures of the food that I cook and it'll look good. Some people will post pictures of the food they look and it's terrifying. You know, you don't want to see that. That looks.
Yeah.
Like the struggle plate.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, when
Or
you
British
see
food,
somebody
you know, like,
post something and you're like, we don't care. Like, think about that for yourself. And you're like, what do people really want to see
Yes.
of me? Like, do they care about this?
Yep.
Maybe not.
Well,
but
it's
they
har-
do care about this or whatever, you know?
Well, it's hard to be your own governor too. It's like,
True.
what is interesting? What is not interesting? Am I caring too much about myself? And it's like, it gets to a threshold where People are like, what's going on with you? Listen, you've got stories written in like different languages about what's going on with you. People need to know your content.
Literally.
Okay, all right.
Well, I'd like to say the whole shit's a movie.
Oh, we know.
Like from the wake up to the go to sleep, this whole shit's a movie. Like not for nothing. Like I really live here. We're not renting this place.
Is home.
This is really the crib. Like your life is a movie. Like you're genuinely like, I mean, when did you get catapulted? You were a teenager still.
Yeah.
Like you were under 18,
I
right?
was 17 when I started working like with Beyoncé and just started my career in general.
Okay, side note, if you guys didn't know, like I'm not just calling her the best dancer in the world because
yeah.
of that. She's genuinely like certified, sanctified, the best dancer.
Yeah, I started
on the
dancing with
planet.
Beyoncé when I was 17, and then I went back and graduated high school. So
Imagine that.
literally a child.
What was that like the reality of knowing how big what you were doing was compared to like the people you're in school with on a daily basis and shit like that? Like was that an
gosh.
active thought in your brain, or were you so involved in doing it that you didn't really stop to think about that until later?
I think I was so involved in doing it. I wasn't really like, wow, I'm doing like greater things than other people my age.
And these punk ass kids I'm in school with.
Honestly, though, I moved to New York when I was 16, and I went to a private school for the first time ever in my life. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I was able to go on tour at 17 was because the school was called Professional Children's School. So everyone in that school was already a professional. So it wasn't abnormal for me to like just go work with a celebrity and go on tour because there were Olympians that I went to school with. There were ballet company members in New York City Ballet who were missing because they were on tours and performing all the time. There were ice skaters, actors. Like it was just like the most random professional kids. So, and people would go missing all the time and then come back and you're like, oh, you still go here. Like, and they're like, oh yeah, I was shooting a series.
I was on tour with Janet Jackson.
Yeah, like
Right,
literally
right,
stuff
right.
like that. So it wasn't that abnormal for me to go do it. I was like, all right, I got to be like these kids,
Well, yeah, and I mean that, and I just saw a clip of her dancing on like Good Morning America, and somebody was like, never forget why she is who she is today, because she did every single, like when you see a famous actor or a comedian or a radio host who has kind of gotten that accolade, you don't realize, bro, you're new to their shit. They've literally been doing this for 20 plus, like that 20 night over year success story, like that shit is real. Like people really have been putting in this. Bro, you've been doing this.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my
been-
favorite Prince quote. It takes years to become an overnight sensation.
Yes, I've been at it for 16 years. 16. That's crazy. I'm not even that freaking old, guys. Believe it or not.
No, bro, I've been doing this, exactly for years. Like I've been making music for that many years.
Yes.
It's like at a certain point, it's like. But I think that's the beauty.
But that's why it's like only just beginning.
Yes, exactly. Like we're still building the pyramid, and we're still like, when you're building the pyramid, you can't stop to like document or take the photos or maybe like even embrace the moment. Like you really were the coolest kid in your high school, in your town, in your state, like there, whatever, all these things, but you're so busy showing up every single day to do the work, to learn the dances, to da-da-da-da. You're not necessarily basking in it.
So you mentioned that earlier. You got to that intentionality where you got to live in the moment and you still got to present it. Was that a hard balance to strike? Was that like difficult for you to get to because of what she was just saying? Like you're the big shot. You've got all this, and even going to this school and hanging out with all these cool kids. I mean, what you were doing is objectively insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
thanks.
how do you balance that? What is like, how do you get to that point in your life where you get to that balance? Because we've talked about that previously, like discipline, right? Like how do you get to the point in your life where you can achieve that balance? What was that path for you?
Oh my gosh. I didn't even really understand balance until like I hit 30. Truly, like I think that really comes with maturity and like choosing what's best for yourself and not like just doing something because of somebody else or doing a job because you don't want to say no or like whatever. Like in my 20s, I never said no to anything. I was like, yes. I'm there. I'm going to make it all happen at once. Like, and I still have that like gene in me. Like it's just the hard worker gene in me, but I know how to balance now because
You know how to defer. Like, if I don't want to do this, this isn't right for me right now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna force it, and I've gotten to the point. Also, it takes time, and it takes experience, and it takes you have to just get time under your belt to get to the level of picking and choosing these things. You know, it's not like I went a week of saying yes, and then I'm like, okay, now I can say no.
Yep.
Like,
No.
I went
15 years
decades,
later.
you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So it's like, I also, whenever I'm telling like mentees and stuff, I'm like, you can't do what I'm doing yet.
No.
But you'll get there, you know?
Hey, yo, I literally just had this conversation yesterday. I'm like,
Yeah.
the kids that I'm around, I'm like, don't forget how old we are now, how many years we've clocked in.
Yep.
Like, if you're 22, you're not like, please don't give up.
Yeah.
Please don't give up. Like, it's
Is
a
that
roller.
the biggest thing you would tell
It's a
yourself
roller
at 18?
coaster.
What would you tell yourself at 18?
Ooh, good question.
I would say it's a roller coaster. And
is.
it's going to go up and down. And sometimes you're going to be chugging up for so long. You're going to be like, yo, when is woo going to start, right? And then you just got to remember, after every wee, there's a, they're back down. And then you got to go back up.
Yeah.
Your job is to not get off the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Stay on the roller coaster. Keep your hands inside the cart and enjoy the fucking ride.
Yeah, and
Whether
hang
up or
on, because
down,
when you're
like,
going down, it feels like
I
you're about to
swear
fall
to
off,
God.
but hang on, because you're still in there, and
Come
you're going to go
on.
back up.
You're gonna
you know?
go back up, bro. If you've
Yeah.
known me for the past 20 years, if you've known Ashley, if you've known Rez, if you've known
Yeah.
any of us, you're gonna go, hey, yo, I've seen a few ups and downs here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and in those downs, maybe sometimes we recognize them as downs. Sometimes we didn't even realize how down we were.
Okay.
Like, we're down, bro. It's down. We're down bad. And we don't even realize it because we're so, like, I think, I don't see a speed bump. Like, a brick wall is just a little baby speed bump. Like, okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna slow down a little bit, but I'm not stopping. Like, you don't think I could jump over that? You don't think I can get through this? You don't think...
Yeah.
Also, I think when I was younger, on my down days, like what I would tell my 18-year-old self, on my down days, I feel like sometimes I felt like, damn, like this is bad. And now I realize, like, I'm just on the charger. It's low power mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's all good, bro. It's low power mode. Save your battery a little bit.
Yeah,
charge
you can't
back
be
up,
at
and then when you're
100% all the damn time.
if you're using yourself, you bet you're gonna drop percentages.
Yes.
Don't use that thing all day. You might be able to keep a 98% charge at night, maybe, if you just keep it off airplane mode the whole day. But, like, bro, you have to use yourself.
Yeah.
Also, I don't understand what up is and down is. You're saying down days, but on a roller coaster, down would be good.
Well,
It's just like when you say slow up and slow down, they mean the same thing.
Essentially.
Hold up, hold down. Like,
Essentially.
they mean the same thing. What do these words mean?
Well, I think that's a really good point you brought up, too, because if you go back to the roller coaster analogy, right? Within that falling is how fast life shifts you. Mm-hmm. How many times have you been riding high in April and you're shot down in May, right? Like, okay, it happens. You're riding high, everything is so good, and then within that nanosecond, it's like, oh, well, let's say tour's over, show idea's over, this is over, job over, okay, now in that, but you're still in the ride, and then that's when you just have to remember, like, you didn't get off the ride. Like, you get on the ride at birth, you get off the ride when you are unalived, and the whole rest of the time, your ass is on the ride, yo. Keep your hands in, keep your fucking hands to yourself, stay on the ride, but in that, like you said, what is up and what is down? So when the down first starts, it feels so good.
And girl, that stomach be up in your neck, I don't know what's about to happen.
This is what I'm here for. Well, it's excitement. You're right. You don't know if it's going to be good or bad because it's all an adrenaline rush, good or bad. But then
and what do you look forward to? Going up or going down? What's the joy of the roller coaster? Is it getting to the top or falling from the top?
I think it's the top because
the
that's where
journey,
you have the
people.
view. You're up high, and you're coasting, and then as soon as you're feeling it a little too hard, it's like back down. Hold on,
and now
back
your
to reality.
stomach is in your feet, literally, and now you just like.
And then your head hits the side too because you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Headaches and all of that. It's But I think the whole thing is keep your ass in here, bro.
Yeah, you're not supposed to get off the ride. People get off the ride. They get off early. They get off halfway. They get off before the drops, before the tops, you know.
Also, they close their eyes the whole roller coaster. Mm-hmm. Like, you're allowed, I'll give you once or twice where you could be like, I don't want to see what's going on. But, like, after that, nah. Open up your eyes, enjoy the ride, and then also realize that at different points of the ride, it feels different. So there's the part where your stomach is in your feet, and then there's the part where it's exhilarating, and now it's just a view. Like, it's kind of slowed down. You're at the top. Then there's a bunch of places on this roller coaster. Now, you build your own roller coasters. Some roller coasters, people are going to be like just like this. My roller coaster is kind of going up, and then I'm kind of like,
Oh, come on.
you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of going all the way up, and then I'm going to come back down, and then now you can build your own roller coaster. So now if you're
It's
smart.
like very existential roller coaster tycoon. Like this is really like just build your own ride.
Absolutely, and
then
stay on it, because
decide
that's what
what
life
ride
is. That's what life is. Life is almost also like you're the train conductor, you're the train, you're also the guy laying your railroad. Like for
Yeah.
me personally, I was like, okay, I'm a train, I'm on this track, I can go this way, or am I the train? Do I know how to build tracks? Yeah, I'm gonna build a track going this way. Now I'm chugging along that way.
And honestly, it's 2023. Like, it is the era of building and paving your own way. Like, we don't
Period.
have to work the way we used to have to with 9-to-5s and stuff. We can work from home. Everyone is working from home, and we've learned that we can work from home and still make money from
Well,
home.
while we
so-
can, they're trying to take that away from us. but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, I think we've had these structures exposed to us.
Yeah.
Like exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, we've had a
love that.
taste of freedom.
Yeah,
We
well,
have.
Also, not
it's-
just a taste of freedom, but also like, I think back in like when we were younger, like you went to the store and you like bought a toy, right? You bought something. You went to a store. Everything was at the store. You didn't really know what like the locomotive train of getting that shit to the store looked like, or what the supply chain looked like. In 23, I would argue the average person on the internet is hip to Alibaba.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the average person on the internet is hip to what an Etsy shop is or what a Shopify
Amazon.
is. Amazon is. So now, like, whatever structures were laid out to you before as like life structures, like this is the grocery store, this is that. Now, I think everyone's just kind of more aware of how these systematic things work, to where now we can kind of like pull a piece of it out and then reconstruct it to fit us, kind of. Like, okay, all my friends buy T-shirts. All my friends love obscure 90s hip-hop shirts. All right, I'm gonna make a bunch. I'm gonna sell it to all my friends. All right, I don't have to now wait for some store where back in the day you had to like wait for somebody to like drop shirts. Like now everyone has a friend that has a fucking printer where you could just print off a thing and you could slap it on, you know?
Facts.
It's nothing to get like vinyl stickers printed and like heat press machine and then just do what you do. Now
Yeah.
you still got to be player to come up with some player shit, which is why Luxury Lazy is player and Renegade's player. These things are player. But at the end of the day, you're not stuck having to do what was presented to you before, like you said. So now you don't have to work a 9 to 5. 23 is the exact year where now you could hop in and be like, huh?
Well, I think there's a lot to unpack with what you just said. I think, like, to start with, I would say there's definitely something true about, like, when you start doing something and you have, like, if you made a custom T-shirt in the 90s, people would be like, oh, my God, that's so cool. Where did you get that?
Right.
Yeah.
You'd go to amusement parks and get, like, the custom T-shirt and be like, whoa, this guy's got something cool. Now you can just go to any website.
Yep.
You got friends with the printer, like you said. So you got to always up your game when
Yep.
it comes to something. You can't always, like, people first got on Instagram, they're like, hey, look at my lunch. Now it's like,
Yeah.
look at my Bugatti as I soar off into the sunset as it's screaming with eagles with like 6 supermodels and a
Yep.
bazooka
Yeah.
or something,
Yep.
you know, like. So you just have to always,
Things develop.
you always have to up things, and that's the thing with rhetoric too. It's like that's why people get more and more crazy. Like you have to say more and more outlandish stuff because like how else are you going to get attention? You got to say more and more crazy things. So like,
That's a fact. I always tell my friends who are like in relationships, I'm like, bro, don't get to cussing each other out. Like if you
Yes.
look at your partner today and the first like annoyance is like, oh, you're so dumb. All right, well, tomorrow if they make you mad, now you're going to have to call them stupid. The third day, you're going to have to call them a
Yes.
dumb motherfucker. The fourth day, you're going to have to cuss them out. Like,
my
where are you guys going to be at on
Don't
day?
even start.
Yeah, like where are you going to be at in a year of having to like up the ante every single day? Like, don't even do it.
Don't do it.
Don't even do it. Don't even start. Some of that shit don't even start. But I do love that, like you said, like you do have to keep, if you're going to be like with the internet, back in the day, the skits was like one person doing this and doing that. Now you have like full production skits for the internet. And like you have these comedians putting together like whole ass like production days.
Yeah.
Like they're filming their IG content with like arias and red cameras and fucking black magics and shit. Like,
and people still relate to things that are more accessible to them because they look at like this overproduction as too much. You know what I mean?
but also, can we throw in the fact that motherfuckers is making bread off of their TikToks and IGs,
They
like
sure are.
somebody would with a sitcom or a movie. Maybe you're not getting like movie money, but
Yeah.
some people have gotten movie money off the internet.
Yeah, some people have.
Well, because I don't think the internet's the internet anymore. We look at the internet as sort of a separate place to consume content now
It's the new
because of
TV.
our age and
And-
how we grew up. And now the internet is just content.
And
Content is the
influencers are
internet. There is no
considered
separation between.
Celebrities.
which is
No,
crazy.
insane. But I think
Yeah.
the internet is the radio and TV and all the other musical things slapped together.
And it's also something totally new.
Period.
Like they're trying to get rid of TikTok, but TikTok is completely.
Okay, what is that all about?
They're trying to ban it, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so basically the whole situation with TikTok, it's basically about user privacy and how the Chinese Communist Party has access to user data in the United States. It also has to do with certain rules about how TikTok, for minors, they don't, in China, they only show educational content to children in China. In America, you can see anything.
Willy-nilly.
I mean, they have age restrictions, there's different types of filters, but in terms of like content time, there's no restrictions like there is in China.
And I don't think they're allowed to use it until they're 15 or something over there, right?
If you're under the age of 15, I think it's only educational content. Once you're 15, it still has a limit cap on how much content
it's
you
just
can
more
watch.
controlled, and
So-
here it's like
Right.
free for all.
Utah just passed a law. I read somewhere. Utah passed a law saying and kids under the age of 18 are not allowed to use social media or the internet without parent consent. It's like the first state in America to do this,
Wow.
apparently.
It seems insane. Seems pretty
Parent
insane.
consent.
I mean, I
Under
think that's
18?
insane because I
Sheesh.
feel like are we evaluating these parents? Like, not all parents are good, sound-minded, logical, reasonable human beings. So I
Not
don't know
at
if
all,
we should
no.
give, like, I do think there should be some sort of,
They should be teaching it in school.
But what's
like
that whole
social
thing, too? Like-
media,
Well, there needs to be media
something.
literacy. You need to be able to
Yeah.
tell fake news from real news. You need to look at Donald Trump getting arrested in New York City and realize, hey, that's
No,
a
I
fake
thought
picture.
those were real.
I know. Everyone thought they were
I
real.
asked him. I was like, yo, Donald Trump got bagged today?
And this is what I do. I
was like,
verify.
Rana
I
said-
verify
See
news on the.
this?
He was like-
when was that?
And listen, verifying news on the internet's
So-
not easy. You
No,
have to be able to have a little nuance to your perspective when you're looking at content. What's the source? Is this a fake Twitter handle? Is this a parody account?
No,
You know, like
never-
you have to look a little bit deeper. A lot of people just go screenshot headline. That's it. That's the
it.
information. You
Goofies.
have to look a little bit
That's
deeper.
it. I feel like there's never been a more truer time for this phrase than now of like, believe none of what you see and only half of what you hear. Like, do you know, or what is it? Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see? No, no, believe none of that shit all around. I sound
Yeah.
like George Bush. Shame me once,
Film a trash. Shame on you.
shame me twice,
That's
full
what I
on
said.
me,
That's what I
Full
said
on
to that
you.
guy.
full on all of us.
Yeah.
You're a
full
fool.
yo.
You're a fool again.
I'm a fool
Hey,
too.
Hey, fool.
Anyway.
Yeah. So,
So how do you like? Okay, so talking about things that you're not supposed to see on the internet, what you put out there, right? Like you don't believe everything that you see online.
I don't believe
Yeah.
none of that shit.
How does that translate to someone like both of you who've got a following, who've got fans? What you put out there that you don't want people to see versus what you do want people to see. Like you have to apply that filter yourself too, right? On the front end.
Well, what I'm putting out, we're controlling, you know.
Yep.
So if
Yep.
somebody else is putting it out,
Yep.
it's like, well, that already is like a red flag that it could be true or untrue because it's not coming from me, you know. People love to change the narrative and tell their own version of whatever story they make up about you or anyone, you know. But I don't know where I was going with that.
Well,
I
how much
guess-
of it you show? You said it's controlled. You said what you're showing is controlled. So
Yeah.
for you, you're not like getting your shit misconstrued. You're kind of controlling the narrative. Like,
Like I know what I'm putting out.
yeah. So then, it's like if you film a reality show, like we were saying this before. Like if you film a reality show, as long as you don't say no bullshit on set, they can't even edit you funny.
Yeah.
Like you got it. Like
You
yes,
have to
you got.
it's called
If
self-control.
they edited you to look bad, like you said something questionable at some point. Where had you literally just been on your best behavior the entire time, there's no way you could have been edited to look bad. At most, they could have clowned you for being too nice.
Yeah.
Or all right,
or
you
not
soft.
like,
Yeah.
you're too
Yeah,
safe.
you're too safe. You're too soft. There's a bee on your cup. Just make sure you don't hurt him.
I feel like
Not he doesn't hurt you. You don't hurt him.
Understood.
Okay. Got it. Save the bees.
I'm gonna stare at
Jerry
him until he flies
Seinfeld
away.
over there.
Yeah, I save the bees. If you know me, I'm a bee saver.
Be saver.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, I'm a bee.
I save bees out of the pool all the time. But yeah, like you were saying, as far as like not getting shit misconstrued, I think also you are of the real, like how you said, like any internet kid right now, let's say, and these people do have following, so it's not a diss to say it, but I think in the grand scheme of what like global celebrity meant, the internet doesn't fit that because people don't really come out of the internet. The internet is still kind of its own little bubble world you go to, like it's like an underground Atlantis type of a thing. You go to it and then there might be famous people within Atlantis, but like we live on land, buddy. We're up here. So up here, all of these things, the reason XYZ is famous is because they were out at a time where it was so not accessible. So if you broke that glass ceiling to become an international name, you really are somebody. That's why nobody ever touched Michael Jackson. Nobody had ever made a music video. What is y'all talking about? Black people weren't allowed on TV like that. Like, what are you saying? Like, some of these people did things that, like, you have to give these goats their credit. Like, you can't, like, why Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan is because he really brought, like, this, he was able to capture the whole world through his performance and his like just his smile
the world's
and the whole
changed,
thing.
I don't think
you
we
know?
have to put people in amber and say this is the greatest that ever was because I experienced it at a certain time in my life. I don't think that's fair to the younger generation. The younger generation wants their own heroes, wants their own celebrities.
No,
Look,
they can have their own heroes.
The Weeknd might not be, in your objective opinion, as good as Michael Jackson, but you look at the amount of streams he's had. What is Blinding Lights is the most played song in the history of music, right? That's got to count
Is
for
it?
Yeah,
Allegedly.
It's got to count for something, right?
These
That's all
are
I'm saying.
machines, though. You not listen. I get it. Fine, Drake, but no, like I'm not.
But no.
No, like no.
love Drake. Come
That's
on.
fine. Everyone does.
Love you,
Everyone
boy.
does. Listen, we love the
Started
Weeknd.
from the bottom, Rana.
And now we're here, right? I love the Weeknd. Fine, do your thing. My point isn't that. My point is to say this. At a certain point, you had.
But isn't that just an old
Wait
head
a
argument?
minute. Entertainment at a certain point was not readily accessible to everyone. You had to have been cast, put on a stage somewhere. You had to have been a good rapper to have the producer invite you to come jump on the track. Like, you had to have been at least at the studio. You had to have at least been there. Like, the average kid has GarageBand on their phones right now. Like, anyone can make music. Anyone can grab a camera right now. I'm making a podcast. Like, I've decided you're going to fucking listen to me.
Yeah, but doesn't the cream
I've
always rise to the
decided-
top in either scenario?
No, that's fine,
Listen,
but what
every
I'm
kid's
saying
got
is it's
GarageBand, but
different.
who's the kid that everyone's listening to? The ones that are
That's
good
fine.
at
That's my
GarageBand,
point.
right?
So out of that world, yes,
Yes.
give it to the J. Coles, give it to your Kendrick Lamars, give it to your Drakes, give it to all of them. For me, it's Future. Future's done what Future's needed to do, respectfully, and I would believe, greatly that the reason a Drizzy is whom he is because of a Wayne. Okay, of a Wheezy is why he is even Drizzy. Okay, so like let's just that's fine,
That's
got it.
true.
Like J. Cole is J. Cole because he literally like forced himself next to the Nas's of the world and then proved that he can actually rap good. Kendrick Lamar got.
My thing is, yes, like because of somebody, these people are who they are essentially, but they still had to put the work in
For
themselves
sure, that's
and
what I'm
still
saying.
had to show up,
Exactly.
every day.
You
and
put yourself next to him, and
and
then you
get
prove that you
those
actually can
stripes.
rap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, why is Nas a rapper? Because of Biggie. Why is Biggie a rapper? Because KRS-One. I mean, you can keep everyone got influenced by
everybody's
someone. Everyone
inspired
got
by
some help,
somebody.
and everyone's trying to pass the torch along. That's what I'm saying. You can't look at history and put it in amber and say this is the best that ever
Yes,
was.
but
we can
hold
never
on.
go beyond this.
You're right.
Facts.
There is new things that come out, and you have to give these new things their credit. And I will give some of these new things their credit, i.e., Future. But at the end of the day, you're talking about regurgitators. Y'all are baby birds. There's nothing new under the sun. Like, you're not doing nothing new. Like, none of them raps you did is new. That's not a new style. Every one of y'all stole Future's style, the Migos style. Every one of y'all is still trying to do your hit 'em up. Every single one of you is still trying to be Nas on Rewind. I'm not impressed. Like, I'm not moved. That's fine. You're just a regurgitator, though. At the end of the day, you're not doing nothing that I'm, like, actually impressed about. How you dress right now? How I've been dressed this whole time. 25 years. Like, nothing. You're like, we've been saucy this whole time. So that's fine. There's a few things where I'm like, all right, that's actually a vibe. Like, there's a few girls rapping right now where I'm like, okay.
Who?
I think Doja Cat makes good music. I don't listen to it. But every time I've heard her music, I'm like, that's actually good. Good for you. Who else
It's good.
is
I just
actually
don't listen
decent?
to it.
There's another one that's out that I just
Glorilla?
heard. Glorilla's cool, but Glorilla I think Glorilla is like a Gucci. Like she's like a people's champ, You know, I think she's like a really she's a girl's girl. I think she has, I also like that she's herself. I also really like these girls that don't let the world influence them. I'm like Rihanna right now, like the Lizzos, the Coi Lerais, the, like
Cardi.
Cardi is
You
done
think
a
she
lot.
got influenced?
Cardi changed her whole face.
She did, but she's still herself.
No, personality
Personality-wise.
and herself is that. And honestly, let's say this, fine. She's authentically herself. And she did say from the get, I'm going to get this work
Yeah,
done.
she did. And I mean, she
So,
started with the teeth.
she-
Like, we
yeah,
all know
yeah,
what
she
if
went-
you go back to Cardi back then, you know that her
Okay,
teeth
then
was
I'll give you that. I think personality-wise, she's definitely maintained her
authentic self. She's
yeah,
just,
no
like,
no
cleaned up a
fucks
little
given.
when
Yeah,
it
yeah,
comes
yeah. She
to business
little-
things,
yeah,
probably.
yeah, little.
You know.
But I meant more or less like the physical, not physically altering self.
Yeah.
Like I really like the girls that are really flexing. Like
With the natural
yeah, and I'm
way
not
they were.
like all respect to every girl that isn't like or
Yeah.
guy that isn't. The guy boys are Drake got a lipo. What are we talking about? Oh, sorry. Hey, listen. It feels like I'm coming for him, but I'm not.
She hates Drake. I'm
No,
looking
listen.
into
You're
the camera
super
right now. She hates
popular,
Drake.
and that's just what it is. So I do apologize, whatever. But
Is it a
That's a lie.
is this a
That's a
fact
lie.
that he got lipo?
That's a lie.
yes, actual
Reckless
fact.
speculation.
I
guys.
know
For
lots of guys
journalistic
who got
purposes,
lipo.
this is reckless
So
speculation.
did Funk
This is an
Master Flex.
unconfirmed
A
rumor.
bunch of the boys.
This never
my
happened.
point
We don't
is,
know.
I
my
have
point
friends
is,
who
Again,
have
this is
done
reckless
lipo. I'm not
speculation. I'd
judging.
my
like to
point
couch
is, what we're
this
not gonna do
as
is
reckless
get
speculation.
the girls up out of there
I haven't done any
without
lipo,
getting the
though.
boys up out of there, or we're not gonna make it not an even playing field. Like I just feel like in 23 we do live in a space where whatever you choose is okay.
Yeah.
Like, and no one's gonna go against you. Like, you want to
The
go.
previous comments have been made by Ranagade herself personally.
Yeah,
and do not
like-
reflect the opinions of Shine and Jam or the Am
Yeah,
Pro
like,
industry.
like what's like you could fix your hair if it won't grow. You could fix whatever, right? Like you could do what. Like it's 23, bro. Do you? Exactly. Do you? I have no qualms with what people do or any of that. I just think in a world where everyone is watching, especially like really impressionable kids, who are on the internet, as wide as the internet is, it's mostly consumed by children, right? And I think it is sort of a responsibility you have when you decide to get a bunch of attention. Like if you're gonna go sit at this in the promenade in Santa Monica, I hope you're a decent singer. Don't hurt my ears. Like if you're gonna do acrobatics, I hope you know how to balance yourself and you don't hurt yourself in the middle of the show.
Actually, no, do that. That'd be more entertaining. Hurt
No,
yourself
see,
during
and that's
the middle
what's
of
the
the show.
problem with the world today. People want to see you hurt yourself. But I think
I'm the problem.
somewhere with so many people watching, I think it's important to have a variety of things represented. The girl who does say, hey, I can afford to get this fixed on myself and walk around with a happy old smile on my face, do that. Like you want to fix the top, the bottom, the whatever it is, do it. But also, if you can find within yourself a super like, fuck the world if they can't adjust attitude, then that is so powerful because like Lizzo in particular, I have so many girlfriends of mine that like we're already on that, but then it was like their gang member Lizzo like now took that shit to red carpets. So now it's like, what? Who are you talking to? And also I think why representation matters, I think it also allows you to see how the world perceives you. Like not everyone gets a chance to be on stage and see the world react to that. Right?
Like a great example is Halle Bailey playing
Yes.
The Little Mermaid.
Whoa, the uproar that caused.
Yes, the uproar. So many people are not happy about
No,
that just
no.
because she's simply black. And the original Ariel was a cartoon who was
Bro,
white.
not even
with
an
red
actual
hair.
human being.
Not even a real one.
Not
a
even an actual
cartoon.
human. Yeah.
crazy.
It's insane. It's actually
But
insane.
representation definitely
Well,
matters.
yes,
sure.
you know, it's what you're talking about, like the content that people put out there. You can't reinvent the wheel. The wheel already exists, but you could look at the wheel and be like, hey, this is a water cylinder. This is a donut. What does this shape have beyond the purpose that everyone else does? And I think that totally speaks to representation, right? Like people view Lizzo as she's just another pop star, but she, like the people you're talking about, she's their gang leader.
Or even
She's
like a Coi
their
Leray being all tiny and shit. I
Yeah,
love her.
tiny and twerking.
What? Tiny and
Yeah.
twerking. This little thing a move. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
we all need that little bit of representation in some capacity. Or like Beyonce, just in her glory. Kelly Rowland in her glory. You got her. You have like all these. I mean, it's like you need you need that. Furthermore, then you need somebody who just with a I don't give a fuck attitude, like i.e. Rihanna.
Yeah.
I love that Rihanna's gone through all of the phases of her like girlhood, womanhood in our faces, and like just unapologetically is like, yeah, fuck you. This is what it looks like when you're pregnant, and this is what it looks like after you have a baby. Sorry, I don't have a six pack. I don't need a snack back six like. And she's still the baddest in the world.
Because she's
like,
always been authentic, and it's always been coming from
I love that.
a genuine, real place.
Or even like continuing to work, like with Queen Bee, right? Like performing at the Grammys with her belly out. I think then that promotes the Cardi B's to go out there and be like, I don't care if I'm pregnant. I'm still going to shoot my music videos. Like we're not like.
Yeah, I think people are tired of contrived. People want real life, you know?
Yes.
Like you were saying about like the natural, not like Cardi B said she wanted plastic surgery, then she got plastic surgery. That's real.
Yeah,
you know?
she kept it real.
Some people who are natural are real in the way like they don't need the plastic surgery. Some people are like admitting they want it. So like, you know, people take different avenues to real, and but that's just what I think people crave more than anything now. Is like, don't give me fake, over the top things that just are phony. Like people are tired of phony.
Yeah. It's all about like.
I think that got ushered out with reality shows, yeah?
Because we got too much reality that was completely fake.
Like think about right now. If you made a video of you dancing right now, just wilding in the driveway, just or like Young Barbecue, that girl that like would do all those dances in her street, like that for whatever reason in this day and age gets more holla than like production, because production seems fake.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like...
And it's just more, like,
because
it is. It's edited. It's, you know, photoshopped. It's all of that. It is, like, in a sense, not real.
It's not real.
Necessarily fake, but not real.
Yeah.
When you just pull out your phone and record yourself real fast.
No camera tricks.
It is what it is, you know? So it's the bare eye, basically.
Like that little thing you did with your little back arch.
Like, I can still do that at 33.
That's more impactful than like this like highly edited, let's say, video of you where like it catches you with the arm.
I know.
And then, you know, it's like that almost is like you could, I mean, through acting, you've had people that don't play basketball players in movies. You've had people that are not football players play football players in movies. Like we can make anything look like anything. So when you authentically get something that's then that thing, people go, oh shit, you really a renegade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You really, Ashley, like you really, bro, listen, I've danced since I could walk. This is the funniest thing ever. Reza's known me my whole life. I've literally danced my whole life. I've been made to entertain all the mehmoonis my entire life, right? Dancing with you, I'm like, yeah, nah, you got it.
Stop.
You got it.
We were trying to learn a TikTok too, girl, so it was hard for me because I'm like, that's not.
Let me tell you this
the
TikTok
way
story.
Used to learning.
She knows the whole choreo, obviously, because
I learned it. It took me like a week to learn it though.
She knows as many choreos in her brain as like I know like verses of like rap songs, right? Like it's actually amazing. So she's like, I got you. So she like slows the whole thing down and is teaching me the dance steps like slow, like she's like boom, hit it, bow, bow, bow. It was I remember.
I'm like I don't even remember which one it was.
Yeah, it was that. So we're like doing it like, and she's giving it to me mad slow mo. So I'm following, and then she's like, okay, let's do it to the music. Bro, she puts the music on and she's like, yak, 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 yak,
I forgot to do a tempo without the music.
Yo, I was like, you know what, Ashley, I'm just gonna stick to my little freestyles over here.
The music was a little faster than what we were practicing.
So can we talk about the athleticism and the genius actually fucking required to do what you do?
I mean, yeah, it takes
what?
Like, what's the training for that? Do you do training outside of dancing to like strengthen
me now?
No secrets,
or like at any
just
point,
hard work is her motto.
Yeah, I know, right? No secrets, just work. Yeah. Not necessarily like dance training anymore now. I feel like that's what your younger days are really for. Like that's what that's why I was in dance class from age 2
the wax on, wax off.
Yeah, phase. Like I paid my dues or whatever. Back then. And so now, like in my professional days, earlier in my career, I would like maintain with class more often. When I wasn't working, I would take class like if I had more downtime. But now that I'm just older and I'm into like a lot more things than only dance, I fill up my time with other things than like training. Wow, what is happening over there?
It's either a birthday party or murder. I'm sorry if you caught that. That was either.
Honestly, keep that in there because that was so spooky fun. Honestly, they were screaming for you.
Why, thank you. Thank you so much.
So
Okay,
either
so-
happy birthday or condolences. That's
yeah.
from Shine and Jam to you.
Someone scream bloody murder, though.
My God. Okay, so now you said now that you're into a lot more things. So I would say now also because you know yourself, you know your body, you know how you, like what you need and what you don't need. Now you know, like, okay, so now if you did something, you'd be like, all right, let me make sure I'm staying flexible. Let me make sure I'm exercising every day, which you do, and you stay fit and all of those things. So I think I guess it's more that now versus like, you don't like the fuck a class. You teach classes. You go on tours teaching classes.
Yeah.
You're the teacher.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Do you
would.
still
How
learn when you
nice is
teach?
that?
Do you feel like you're like relearning while you're teaching?
I do feel like re-inspired when I'm teaching, yeah. And not to say that I can't learn anything in a class, because you can always be a student, you can always be a sponge, you can always learn.
Yep.
So I will take people's classes, I'll take friends' classes, I will take a class. I just do not, and I should, you know?
Well, it's like you've mastered so many different art styles that you can like piece together what you'd learn in some ways, right? It's like martial arts mastery. Like you've learned so many different disciplines that like you can piece together your own discipline when it comes to like your dance style, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Leanne.
Yeah. Ashley.
Ashley
Everett.
Ann.
Bruce Ashley.
There you go.
Bruce Ashley.
Ashley.
That's the one. Bruce Ashley. Middle name
Hilarious.
Ash.
Yep.
First name Bruce, middle name Ash.
First name Bruce.
Yeah, first name Bruce, last name Lee. I love that. No, for real though, but also the choreography is what blows my mind. Like,
yeah. It's a lot.
I guess I rap all the songs and people are like, how the do you memorize all these words?
It's a
How do you-
muscle.
It's a muscle.
It's
like
a muscle
your brain
in our
really-
brain somewhere.
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
When you memorize, I'm always trying to pick her brain. I'm like, okay, tell me what you're.
Yeah.
I love
are the secrets?
mastery.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I love
Hey, it's Jerry
Come
Seinfeld.
over here.
I know. I'm like, come here, land on me, please.
I'm like,
Hey,
don't
I'm a
come
bee.
over here.
I love them. They can all land on me.
What's the deal
you
with
go
this?
over there.
He heard me. You coming? Okay. So I always try to pick your brain because you are, it's very interesting to me how people memorize stuff, like the process of memorization. So when you memorize choreo, do you, and tell me how, because I'm just going to throw two options out there and then it might be a whole nother way that I didn't even ever thought of. Do you memorize like to the beat, or do you memorize like piece by piece, or do you memorize to the words? Do you memorize, do you like sync the
That's a good question,
choreo
actually.
pieces back? Like how do you program your brain?
That's a really good question because, you know, coming from like a technical background, technical dancers usually count in 8 counts. Like,
okay.
So
So
you
you're
could do it to
memorizing
any-
every 8.
Yeah, like counts. It's count based. But once I started doing like working in the commercial industry, which was at 17, so I was still very young, and I also like started doing competitions and doing more hip hop and stuff like that. You're doing more trendy songs and popular songs, so you start doing it to the lyrics more and doing it to the beat more, you know, because you know the song versus being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because you don't know it.
Absolutely.
You know,
That makes perfect sense. Okay.
So once I entered the commercial industry, I really started like learning easier to like the music and the lyrics, and like it would help me. Lyrics help me if you say swing or she says and then I slap that. Like it helps you remember what the movement is.
Got
you know.
Got you.
So now I memorize better like with lyrics and music and knowing the music versus being like counts, because counts are, it could be anything. It could be anything, literally.
But
But I do still count. So I'll be like 1, 2, 3, and a 5, 6, 7, 8, woo, crack, and a bop, bop, woo, woo, you know, whatever it is.
Got you. The other thing we had discussed a while back, which I thought was one of the most interesting things, is you had said, and this was something I'd never thought about, is because you were dancing and you were like, you had asked which style, we were doing a shoot and you were like, do you want me to just do whatever, or are we like hitting? And then I don't even know how the conversation started, but basically you were explaining that when you are a captain, dance captain, and you are essentially like, your job is to right hand the person center stage, you have to dance a totally different style than the main dancer or like the superstar, like the star, let's say, or like the one you're back up dancing for or doing the captaining for, whatever the words are that I'm using here, right? But when you do that, you really have to like, you were basically explaining, you have to take like all this personality out of it. You're very much dancing as a...
You're the harmony basically, right? Like you're not singing the melody, you have to kind of like do a harmony part.
Absolutely. I mean, are you talking about with artists?
Yeah, like with artists. Like when you're dancing behind an artist, you kind of really have to like dance a certain way. So where you're not like...
I mean, we're always playing a role, you know?
Right.
It is always playing a role unless you're playing yourself and it's your show, you know? But like we are always playing a role essentially. So...
like you have to be mindful of it while you're doing it to where like you're...
Like when I dance with Sierra, it was different than how I dance with Beyoncé. Because of the choreography, A, but B, because of like the intentions and stuff behind it, you know. But I'm still Ashley.
Got you.
If that makes sense.
For
but
sure. And you're so easily like pick outable out of the dancers.
So do you get like, do they tell you like, okay, we want this mood for these dance moves? Do we want these specific moves for this choreography? Like what, like, is it a move? What kind of, is it driven by both sometimes?
Both, yeah. So that's what makes a dancer, like that's what makes the difference between a great dancer and just a dancer, is adding in mood and feelings into
it's like
the
a guitarist.
moves.
Like you can play the notes, or is there emotion with the music? You know, it's the same thing.
And like, what is it? What is the emotion? Where is it stemming from? What are we feeling? Are you making other people feel it?
Yeah.
And that's the goal to being a great performer in general.
Wow.
So yeah, anyone can do the steps. Anyone can do choreography.
Yeah.
So was it harder for you to learn the moves or to learn the emotion? Did you already have the emotion? You had to learn the steps?
I would argue you probably had it since day one, considering like how you were even selected for it. Like you were chosen for this versus you know? Like
I've always been like a pretty quick learner, like because some people are slower. Everybody learns at different paces, you know, like, and I can learn pretty fast, but like it doesn't feel better until the next day. Like I love to sleep on it and then wake up the next day and I'm like, oh, now I know what I'm doing. But I still learn pretty fast. So I had to really work on it, especially coming from like a more technical background. I had to work on feeling, you know, where it's like, okay, what is this? Like, where is this coming from? And then sometimes there's more emotional ones that you really got to dig deep. It's like acting, you know, it's the same thing as acting. It's just with our bodies. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's so deep because you don't even think, like you're literally like just thinking like you're just dancing, but you got to like serve face. You have to like serve emotion through your actual movements. Like you can't look, if it's like a deep song, you can't look too like
I mean, there's been
and then
times
you don't
where
have
we're
a
on
script
tour.
to kind of hide behind like an actor where like the words themselves, like it's all your body. You're just really presenting that emotion in such a raw form.
Yeah, and
dancing is
what
brutal.
what gets you chosen is like, oh, we like the way they perform it, but it's like no right or wrong, you know? Like if you are somebody who's performing it more passionately and giving crazy faces or something, it's like that's just how you interpreted it, and maybe people like it, maybe people don't.
Well, and then
you
to
know?
go back to something you were saying at the very beginning, that's got to be really hard when you're in an audition and it's so appearance based, right? Because you're emoting so much, you know. It's like it's such a raw emotion that you're putting out there, and then your appearance, you know, determines it. You know, it's really crazy.
Yeah. And then it's like some people, like we've had notes before on tour where it's like dancers need to be aware of their faces, their facial expressions, because, you know, somebody's mouth is moving weird or you're doing something weird. You're just not aware. Like you have to be aware the camera is on you. Like, you know, if you watch the Super Bowl, the first time I performed the Super Bowl in 2013 with Beyoncé, I literally found like every camera. I had my red hair then. Our hair was like straight too. But like people always talk about that because I was finding those cameras.
Yep.
I think that's like when something clicked then when I was like, oh, we're on TV. This is my biggest performance ever. The Super Bowl, like
I've seen
people
that
who
too.
aren't Beyonce fans are watching this. Football fans are watching this. So let me find these cameras so I could be like,
that performance goated her for me. That particular are you talking about the black outfit with the little lace thing? Yeah. Okay.
Very
that
legendary.
performance.
Very legendary.
I remember where I was. I remember what couch I was sitting on, and I remember it was the first time I felt blown away since the passing of Michael.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
It was the first time I was like, this is a real, like, she's not
And
fucking
she paid
around.
like odes to him too, and it.
Oh,
yeah.
she's just. I mean,
she just is. Like,
she just is. She just is what, and I just feel like she is such. I think on the planet Earth, she is the only person that has ever
come close
or touched that. And I think he even co-signed it at some point and was like obsessed with her. He loved her. So, no, yeah, like, and then it's so funny too because we became friends because we just became friends, and then I think like I'm like, yo, you're so lit. Ashley, you're so lit.
I'm dead.
No, the stories are crazy. But in that performance too, do you remember that's when everyone like zoomed in on her. They slow-moed the stuff. They try to like get all the dancers and be like, oh, okay, too bad you guys didn't realize dancing is athletic. Beyonce is an athlete. Do you realize what it takes to dance, the amount of hours you guys dance?
Yeah.
How many shows? And then on top of that, she's like holding high notes. Huh?
Yeah,
Stop
I know.
it.
That's the part.
What?
That's crazy.
Yeah, like, huh?
Well, like athletes are obsessed with actors. Actors are obsessed with athletes. I feel like dancers are really the two in one, right? Like you have to be athletic, but you also have to emote. You have to like give this performance where it's
and we're like
it's seamless. You're also kind of
right
like in
there on stage with them
Right.
too. It's not like musicians are kind of sometimes hidden in the back. Like we are right there. We have to emote and perform with
There
them.
should be
We
an
have to
award
bring
show.
extra energy. And then it's like it's just so sad because dancers are still like the bottom of the barrel when it comes to the
Do you think people
industry.
don't
Y'all
recognize
should
how
have an
much
award
effort
show.
goes into being a dancer?
I think people do recognize how much effort goes into being a dancer. I think people don't respect it. And that's why dancers are paid terribly. That's why dancers are always replaceable. I mean, everybody is always replaceable. They always make you feel replaceable no matter if you're
There
actor,
should be a
dancer,
dance award
singer.
show. And then instead of an EGOT, you're EGOTed because it's the dance award show.
EGOTed.
EGOTed. Like you're EGOTed now. Like seriously, because honestly, like if you think back on the greatest entertainers of all time, whatever that list includes, they all danced.
Yeah.
From the Dean Martins to the
Fred Astaire.
Fred Astaire's to the Frank Sinatras to let's bring some of the women in.
Shakira.
Yes,
I don't know if
Shakira.
Shakira's an actress. Is she an actress? Does she act?
She's done. I mean, I'm just
J-Lo.
saying. Like,
J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez is a dancer. Even back in like Cher danced, and
Yeah.
my point is like dancing is part of the whole thing. Like I think it should be included.
I mean, dance
in
should
the list of
definitely
things.
be more respected because it's so mainstream and like, performances aren't exciting without dance a lot of times. I will say there are some great performances that
do you
don't
think it's
need
the
dance, but-
replaceability factor that gets dancers not enough respect?
Yeah, I think dancers have just been like programmed to always take an opportunity. It's like just
Like
you
you were
better
saying
take
in your
this
20s.
opportunity.
Like you were saying in your 20s, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why people work for free. And that's why it was a whole thing about the Super Bowl, dancers working for free for the Super Bowl when it's a televised event. Like that stuff is technically like illegal, like it's not allowed, but dancers do it because we want something to put on our resume so we can then take it to another job and then get
Well, it's like
offered something
hold on.
else.
I think it's really unfair
It's
though
just-
to say that dancers are replaceable when every industry is replaceable.
Every industry
Actors
is.
are just as replaceable. Musicians nowadays, I mean, none of them. How many are actually musicians? Some play instruments, but artists that make music
Yeah,
are
everyone is
replaceable. Everyone's
replaceable,
replaceable.
and they make
but
you feel that.
dancers, I feel like, female dancers right now globally. I would give you male dancers. I would probably give the twins. That's it. That's literally that's it. Girls, you got them all. The
But
boys, they
that's-
got them all.
and
then
that's
in the
because
90s, I
we've,
can tell you the few
branded
dancers too.
ourselves
What, like
differently.
Fatima, Tina,
No, Landon.
like that's it. There was only a few.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, okay, so these are the GOATs. Like, okay, if you talk about athletes of the 90s, you're only going to name a few. If you talk about actors of the 90s or the 2000s, you're only going to name a few. Like, what's up? Why? Hold on. No. Listen, award show for the dancers ASAP. Award show, like an actual, for real award show for the dancers.
Let's
Dancers
do it.
make the world go round. Also, we could damn near guarantee a bunch of other people would show up too because y'all really helped them do their thing.
Facts.
Like Chris Brown is an amazing dancer, but his backup dancers are incredible. Like Michael Jackson's backup dancers did all, like that Annie, Are You Okay? All them backup dancers hit that too. Like Michael wasn't the only one that did the lean, bro.
I know. I don't understand why dancers haven't hit like a celebrity status yet.
Gatekeeping. I think some of it, I think it's the same reason that like the backup singer would have to like then go out and drop an album. Like Kelly Price was a backup singer for gazillions of years, and then she dropped her own shit, and now you know who Kelly Price is.
Yeah.
How many other backup singers are there that are like responsible for your favorite songs and you don't know who they are? By name. I mean, okay, some people know them by name if you're involved in the industry, right. But like for the most part, I think some of that is also like the dancer must not say nothing because the person is
Or
center
the dancer
stage
has to
and all
do
of that.
something.
Yeah, like
The
you're
dancer has
a
to do
prop
something
more
else,
than
right?
anything, right?
Yeah,
I guess in a
absolutely.
sense, like
Yes.
like if I work at a party, I'm just a prop of the party. Like I'm not the
That's
party.
what it
I'm
is.
just somebody
that's,
providing
that's
yeah.
That's everything. I mean, when you're working for someone, you're not building your own dreams. You're building theirs. Like you're making theirs.
Yeah, but I don't
reality,
understand. If you think
so-
about like classical stuff, like like there's the symphony, that's your music. There's the opera, there's your singers, there's the ballet. They're your dancers. In modern times, we have the singers, we have the actors, we don't have the dancers. We need to respect like dance as an art form. I think it's been long respected as like belly dancers, going back to court jesters, all that stuff. Like dance has always been a really highly respected form of art. I just think in modern times it's become like, well, you're just a prop. What else do you do as a dancer? And I feel like that's disrespectful to the art form, really.
Oh,
Very
it's
much
so.
is.
I think it's so disrespectful to the art form. Like, honestly, as a person who's such a, I mean, as a child of the Michael Jackson era of understanding entertainment and shit like that, like dancing, every single thing that's iconic is not. It's like you're not a singular person. Like, okay, let's just use Chris Brown as an example, because obviously, for whatever reason. Like, when you watch one of his videos and you love the dancing, you're watching all them dudes hit. And not saying that he couldn't dance by himself in a video, and he has danced by himself plenty of times in his videos, I'm sure. But he'll tell you himself, like, this is my show. This is my, like, I need all of this for this to hit the way it hits. Like, it's not going to hit like Janet Jackson hit when she had her dancers behind her. Dun, 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 dun.
Absolutely.
Or like dun 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 dun.
She only has 4 dancers going on tour with her this summer.
Really? Okay, so now let's talk about the fact that you, Miss Thang, not only dance, you do choreography, you do directing for whole things, like putting all of it together.
I act, I influence.
Oh, you did.
I am influential.
You
I like
just
to say
did
that.
a Nissan commercial.
I did.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm in a Nissan commercial.
The HomeGoods commercial.
Yeah.
Let's go. The other one was
Smirnoff and
Smirnoff
Pepsi.
and
Yeah,
What?
she's been on
I'm
my
gonna mix
Instagram.
Pepsi and Smirnoff and drive a Nissan right now. That is
Two HomeGoods.
2 HomeGoods.
To HomeGoods. There you go.
Wow. Oh,
If
actually
only I was
don't.
getting
We should have somebody
paid.
to
No,
drive
don't
you.
drink and
For you to
drive.
do
not drink
Reckless
and drive.
speculation. That's all.
Yeah, he didn't mean that.
No, you're gonna have Smirnoff after when you get home
Yes.
to celebrate
Yes.
that you bought at
Right.
HomeGoods.
But Pepsi on the way there.
Pepsi on the
Yeah,
way there.
yeah.
And then once you make your score at HomeGoods, you're going to be so excited when
Then
you come
just a
back.
straight bottle of Smirnoff. Then
No,
just
Take a shot.
No,
You're just gonna take a little
You're
shot.
going
Not
to
that.
celebrate
Okay.
Yeah,
Responsibly. Responsibly.
always responsibly.
with a shot of Smirnoff. Shout outs.
Yeah.
Okay, gang. And then Shine and Jam is your
Oh,
go-to.
yeah.
Let's talk
Shine
about
and-
that.
yeah, I
Let's
mean,
talk about
Shine
the
and
beauty
Jam-
routine for the dancer.
Yeah. Okay. So my hair, you know,
Is the greatest hair on the planet. Hold on. Matter of fact, go back to her page. Ashley CM Everett. Don't play. Listen.
being a curly, you know what it's like being a curly girl, okay?
not
You can
girl.
only have so many days where you're like actively
Curly.
thriving in your curls,
Yes,
and then you're
yes.
like, get this off of me.
Yep,
So we
yep.
have our days, and this is one of my days / weeks that I've been in a bun life. But Shine and Jam has been holding me down in my bun life, okay?
Listen.
It is the go-to for the edges, the slick backs.
Which one's
the-
your favorite for dancing? Are you an
Oh,
orange
for
fan?
dancing? I mean, I don't know. My hair just naturally gets dry, so I'm always looking for anything with like moisture added into it. You know, moisture is always the go-to. We love the olive oil. What's the other one? This one is the conditioning one. Yep, we like that one.
This one's got the honey.
I have a gold one at home too.
Oh, the gold one's fire.
Yeah.
The edge one, gold one's fire. I love that one. That one's. I also use that in his hair today.
Which one?
The yellow edge one. That one I use in his hair just because I just wanted to like smooth it. See,
How
that's the
so?
thing
Do you
too.
go like this with the
yeah, so
straight hair?
I just took a little tiny dab and then put it all over my hands like really well, and then just kind of like smoothed over his hair.
So it's kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a soft hold.
It's so funny because gel gets so like misconstrued. Everyone like when we do the hair shows, people are like, obviously like whatever. People will walk past and they'll be like, somebody be like, "Oh, that
We
group
should do
looks
a
awesome."
podcast while we get our hair done.
Ooh, I love the way you
Like
think.
getting
Done,
braids
done,
or
done,
something.
Done. I love
Wow.
that. Yep, Reza gets like a cut by a
and then we
barber.
can, yes,
I
and
love
we could
that.
talk about hair trauma.
That's a good
that's,
idea.
That's a thing.
Yeah, no, actually, let's get into hair trauma right now. But a lot of people say like the gel is like for braiding, or they're like, oh, it's for the curl. Honestly, the slick back ponytails, like the Bella Hadid ponytail, or the Kendall Jenner ponytail, that's gel.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
Elvis.
The white girls, this is
What?
great for white girl hair. Or like
Perfect.
soft, straighter,
Yep.
smoother hair.
Even just putting a little bit in before you blow dry your hair. It'll
Yeah.
give it some oomph. It'll give it some
It works
juice.
for any type
oh my
of hair
God,
you have.
all
It
types
really
of hair.
works.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The main thing to consider with hair gel is
I mean, I think the three of us all have very different types of hair, and
For
it
sure.
all
Absolutely.
works so well
so
for us.
you just
Yeah.
need to focus more on amount you're applying. So we don't
Yeah.
all have the blessing to have the amount of hair this one here was blessed with. I mean, you couldn't. Oh God, I you know how like everyone wants what they don't like, what they don't have, right? Like
Yeah.
I dream of like big hair,
Girl.
Like in my mind, call me Shaka Khan, call me Diana Ross. Me and Diana Ross actually have the same birthday. Shout outs to Diana.
Hey.
But I love like vanity. Like give me big hair or give me nothing. The
I'll
the
have
bigger
my
the hair,
hair
the
out
closer to
next
God.
time.
Yes, no, you will for sure. But it's the amount you use. So for him, just a little tiny bit, because he also has shorter hair. So you don't want to like overly do your hair. So another one of our friends is here that has curly hair. So she could do it too, but she would just use a little bit less, comb it through, whatever, put it in your hair, damn dry at any moment. But it's the amount you use, like based on like the porosity of your hair. So yeah, okay. So then when you're dancing, you were like you were the signature redhead for a long time.
Oh yeah, I was a redhead forever. Yeah, 10 years of red hair.
Okay, good. And then recently we went lion mane. We are
Yeah,
blondies.
the pandemic really is what brought out. My red started fading, and I was like, oh, this is like giving strawberry blonde. So I was like, this is cute, and we just kind of added more and more highlights over the years, and here we are.
Here we are, and it's glorious,
Thank
glorious.
you. It's actually healthier in my blonde days, which is crazy, but I also take better care of it. So
once again,
it's all about the products you're using, right?
and adulting. Shout
Yeah,
outs to like
it
actually
truly
getting
is.
it together.
Yeah.
Shout outs to being in your 30s.
Priorities, boundaries, all of that.
That
you know,
part.
it all plays its role
That
into
part.
getting our shit together.
Saying no.
Saying no.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well, on that note of boundaries and holding that shit down and taking care of ourselves, thank you so much.
This was
Honestly,
dope.
Seriously, that was great.
I'm going to
Thank you,
swindle
guys.
you into like being like a regular here.
Oh, yeah,
so
we're going to be here
That's what we're going
all
for.
the time
Yeah.
getting suntan.
Because that was perfect. That was perfect. Amirica, thank you for holding
Ranagade,
down.
you're the best. Thank you so much.
God bless all of you.
Thank you, Renegade.
Powered by Shine and Jam, the Renegade
Yeah.
Show, over and out. Holla. Holla, 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 holla.